Welcome friends, we will be learning about offset entities command. For that, first of all, I am taking uh, a sketch, and in the sketch I am making a figure. Suppose this is our figure. Now I want to uh, keep a line at a distance of at a some specific distance from this line, a similar line. I want to take a line. So there is a offset command. Suppose I want to take a second line at a distance of 10 mm, similar to this line. So I have clicked here. Let me take the distance as say 50 mm. So now you can see this arrow. This arrow points out the direction in which the offset will be made. I'm keeping my cursor in the upward direction, so the offset will be made in the upward direction. Now I am clicking the left click of my mouse. As soon as I clicked here, you can see an offset has been generated of 50 mm at a 50 mm distance. So this one is the offset command. Next few things to learn about for offset command is there is a reverse. If I click here and I drag downward, actually this command is of no particular use. You can manage in the direction by keeping your cursor in a particular direction, so you can manage the direction of the offset. But anyhow, in some cases when there is no possibility to make a to choose the opposite direction, or the offset goes only in one direction, in that cases this command can be used. So anyhow, the third command is the select chain. In this offset command, the third option is a select chain. If I click on any of the entity of the sketch, the whole of the entities that are connected with that sketch, all other entities that are connected with that entity, that are all selected. The whole chain is selected. So now if I drag it outward, you can see the offset has been done in the outward direction, and at a distance of 50 mm, and all of the entities has been made up in offset. Next thing to note is bidirectional. If I want to offset in both direction, so if I click here, you can see that offset has been done in both directions. This one. So these are the basic commands of offset entities which are frequently used. Next is our mirror entities. Now if I want to mirror this part, so I have to take a center line. I want to make a similar part, a mirrored part of this entity, this figure, and I do want to mirror it along this line. Suppose this is the line along which I want to mirror it. So I'm taking mirror command. Now first of all, I will be selecting entities to mirror. I have selected the entities that I want to mirror. Now is mirror about. This is our mirror about line. I clicked here. Now clicking either enter or clicking OK from here. I'm pressing enter from my keyboard. You can see it has been mirrored. So this is the way to mirror a particular entity of the sketch. So this is the mirror command. It has some particularly very beautiful uses, very useful utilities of this line. For example, For example, this is our spline, and it is practically impossible to generate a mirror of this line manually. This line very manually. So the mirror command is very useful here. Now click for the mirror command, selected the entities to mirror, and I selected the mirror about line. So you can see it has been perfectly mirrored. Doing it manually isn't possible. Furthermore, I want to show you, if I want to change any particular point of this spline, suppose I change this point, so you can see the change is all automatically reflected in the mirrored portion of this spline as well, this side. Or if I change through the mirrored part, that change is also reflected in the basic part, the main part. You can see that. So this is the utility of a mirror entities command. Now suppose this is an oval shape or something different in shape. Suppose this is the shape. Now I want to make a pattern of this shape at some particular distances in x direction as well as in y direction. So for that there is a linear sketch pattern. There are two kinds of patterns, linear sketch pattern and the circular sketch pattern. So first one is linear sketch pattern. I will be showing you. Now in the x-axis, suppose the distance at which I want to place the next oval is suppose 50 mm, and I want to place 5 such ovals in x direction. If I want to put that ovals in at a particular angle, that I can do as well. Suppose I want to put them at 15-degree angle. That means that it will not go in purely x direction. It will go, the patterns will go at a direction inclined at 15 degree with the x-axis, suppose in this way. Then in the y-axis, suppose I want to put up 3 such ovals in y direction at a distance of suppose 40 mm. Now I have to select the entities to pattern from here. Inside this box, I have to choose for this oval. Now you can see the ovals are at a distance of 50 mm from each other over this line, along this line, and at a distance of 40 mm from each other along this line. And further you can see they are at a distance at an angle of 15 degree from x-axis. Suppose if I make this angle as 0 degree, so they have been aligned over the x-axis. So suppose I am taking them once again, 15-degree angle, so you can see that. So this is our linear sketch pattern. Furthermore, to show you what is the distance between one and the other, one and the next oval, suppose this is a point on the first oval and this is the point on the second oval in y direction. So this is the distance that we took between these two ovals To note here is that the distance will be between, we may say, the same point on one oval and the same point on the next oval or the next entity. We can also change this distance. It will be reflected in all the ovals in y direction. Suppose I want to make this as 30. Oops. Actually, this has to be done by a control point. One second. Oops. It will be actually done in a fixed entity. These points of this oval are not fixed, arbitrary. They can be changed. For a solid figure, whose all the sides, all the dimensions has been fixed. For that, the direction can be, the distance can be changed. For example, let me show you. Suppose this is a rectangle, and this I am taking as 15 mm. This I am taking as 30 mm. So now, if I want to pattern this one, suppose I am taking this as 30 mm in next direction, and suppose I am taking just 3 such patterns. 30, I am taking this as actually 40, and then in y direction I am taking as 3, and the distance I am taking is say 20 mm. So this is our pattern. Now you can see the distance is in y direction is 20 mm that we took. Now we can change this distance as well. Suppose I want to take this as 25 mm. You can see the distance has been reflected in all the entities in y direction, and this one I took as 40 mm. Suppose I want to make this as 50 mm. So you can see the distance has been reflected in all the entities in x direction. So this is the linear sketch pattern command. Next is our circular sketch pattern command. Suppose this is an entity, and I do want to make a pattern of this entity over this circle. So first of all, I am making this circle as a construction circle. For checking in here for construction, this will become a construction circle. So this won't be recognized by the 3D features at all. So now, circular pattern. Now from here, first of all I want to put up the entities to pattern. This is our entities to pattern. Here I want to put up the number of patterns I want to make from this line, number of repetitions for this sketch entity. Suppose I want to make 9 sketch entities. So I put up 9 here. If I do want equal spacing or not, that I can specify. Further, here I can put up in what degree I want all these patterns being made up. This has been by default taken as 360 degree. Suppose I do want to make this in 270 degree. So you can see that in 270 degree there are 9 patterns, 9 repetitions for this pattern. You can see that in the span of 270 degree there are 9 such patterns. Furthermore, I'm taking them as 9, choosing the entities to pattern. Then taking the span angle as 270 degree. Now you can see the orientation is clockwise. Suppose I do want to make this orientation as anti-clockwise, so I can check here and reverse the direction. So now this is anti-clockwise. You can see the difference. So this is our circular sketch pattern command. Now there are some more commands left. Number 1 is move entity command. Suppose I do want to move this entity to a particular location, so I will be using move entities command. In the move entities command, I will first of all I have to check the entities that I want to move. This is the entity that I want to move. Now the start point of this line. Suppose this point is the start point of my line. The picking point, I have clicked over here. So now I can move the entity to anywhere that I do wish. Suppose I want to move it here. I have clicked here and the entity has been moved here. This one is the move entities command. Next is the copy entities command. Clicking here, entities to copy. I have copied the entity. Now I will to specify the start point of the line. Suppose this is the start point. I have copied the line from here and I can paste it anywhere. So it has been copied there. One more thing I want to tell you is if I want to copy it without using that command, I can do that. And suppose if I want to use this sketch entity in another sketch of another part, then I have to click on the part, or I have to select the whole part, the sketch entity, this sketch entity, and then I have to press from my keyboard Ctrl+C. I have copied that part and I can paste it anywhere. Suppose I'm just making this closing the sketch and I'm taking another sketch. Now using Ctrl+V here, I can paste it here. So this is the particular use of Ctrl+C keyboard shortcut. Now the next is rotate entities command. Suppose I want to rotate this entity along a particular point. So first of all I am taking the entities to rotate. I will chosen for this entity. Now I have to specify the center of rotation, the point along which I want to rotate this entity. I have clicked here. The rotation that I do want, suppose I do want a rotation of 45 degree. So you can see it will rotate in this direction. It will rotate actually in anti-clockwise direction. Suppose if I want to rotate it in clockwise direction, 45 degree, then what I have to do is I have to place 360 minus 40. I have to deduct that value from 360 degree. So this is the minus 40 degree value, or I may say minus 45 degree rotation in clockwise direction. But anyhow, I am just taking this as in anti-clockwise direction. Clicking OK. This is done. Next one is scale entities command. Suppose we want to make this entity as double, so I will be using scale entities command. I am choosing for the entity, then choosing the point about which I want to scale. Suppose I want to scale from this point, and I want to make it to 2.5 times larger. So this will be 2.5 times the original size of the entity. Now next is stretch entities. For that, first of all, I have to take a sketch entity with some lines as well, or anything like that. Now suppose I do want to keep this line as fixed and stretch all the other lines. Now I will be using stretch entities command. So entities to stretch, I will be clicking this one, this one, this one, and this one. Now stretch about this line. Now as soon as I clicked over this line, I can I'm not pressing any button of my mouse. I can drag the sketch entities in any particular direction here, or if I want to keep them in the x direction, then I can keep them in that direction. And if I want to decrease the original sketch, I can go in the negative direction. You can see. Now clicking at any point, the stretching will be finalized. So this was our stretch entities command. Thanks for watching.